Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Sunday afternoon episode of Ted's Brew Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. It is almost 1 o'clock on the 7th of December 2025. I hope I'm finding you all in a good state of affairs, and if I'm not, then I hope things improve for you very, very soon. I wanted to do a review on this particular drink today because it's actually a collaboration between two of my favourite breweries. So I was just looking around the co-op because the co-op, in my experience, tend to have the best reduced section every day because in the UK we have this thing where all of the supermarkets have some produce that's like just about to like go off the shelves or go past its sell by date, and they reduce it down by a certain amount to enable people to buy some of the produce that might otherwise be not okay for reselling the following day. So it's a really good policy that a lot of supermarkets have in this country. The co-op in particular have, I think, the best reduced section because sometimes you can find some great stuff in there. But when I was looking in there recently for some reduced stuff, I saw this particular drink and I saw that it was a collaboration between two breweries I really, really like. So the drink of today's review is this little number here. It is a hazy pale ale that is a part of the Breaking Bed series. And yeah, Breaking Bread. Is that a reference to Breaking Bad? Possibly. But more importantly, it's a collaboration between Toast Brewing and Tiny Rebel. Toast Brewing, I haven't reviewed, I don't think, a drink from them in quite a while. Tiny Rebel, some of you will remember, I have reviewed drinks from quite a few times in the past before. And these are two of the more consistent, like B Corp, like semi kind of craft brewery kind of like breweries that I've reviewed from in the past. So I'm really interested to see what this is like. And what's particularly interesting about this is that I looked this up on the Toast Brewing website, and one of the descriptions they give of it is we kicked off the Breaking Bread series with a proper lip smacking brew. It's bold and brilliant, hazy pale ale, brewed in collaboration with the mighty Tiny Rebel. And I didn't find this out actually until I started reading this description, but Tiny Rebel are apparently the largest craft brewery in all of Wales. So big up to them for that, and deservedly so because their beers are really solid. So it also says, together we brewed this vibrant beer with 19,000 slices of surplus bakery bread. That's a loaf equivalent to the length of Tower Bridge. So they've basically used leftover bread in the place of like barley and stuff like that to help brew this bread beer. And I'm kind of interested to see what it's like because I think for something like a hazy pale ale, they're making it using leftover bread. It sounds like actually a really good idea. You're using up surplus stock of a particular ingredient and putting it towards a product that could realistically sell quite well, and it's also ecological. So yeah, big up that idea. I will say the design of the label and the can doesn't really give much away to that concept that it is made out of surplus bread. I will say I don't mind the can and the design of the colours and the labelling on it. It's just not my absolute favourite. I think I've always tended to prefer the design of the cans from Tiny Rebel a little bit more to the ones from Toast Brewing. Toast Brewing's cans don't really look bad at all. It's just I just prefer the Tiny Rebel ones really. But it looks fine. I'll probably give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It looks okay, but it's just nothing special really, to be honest. And the colours kind of do clash a little bit, but they don't look bad really. It's just that I think they could meld them together a little bit better and like contrast the colours a bit better. But I don't know. It doesn't look bad per se. I'm just really nitpicking. This 440 milliliter can, which is 4.5% by the way, was £3 from the co-op. So as far as I'm aware, I think the co-op is the one main place where you can get this. I don't know if they're selling it anywhere else at the moment, but they came out with this one within the last year or so, I'm pretty sure. So it's quite a recent addition to the Breaking Bread series. So we'll give ourselves a quick sniff just to see what our first impressions are like. This can is a little bit shaken up because I have dropped it a couple of times. So, woo! Yeah, that's got a nice pale ale smell to it. Pale ales always tend to smell quite mangoey or papaya-y to me. This has definitely got some sort of like fruity kind of hoppiness to it, but the Yeah, there is kind of sort of like a bready after smell to it. It kind of gives me an impression of like a bakery at the end of the day where they're giving out leftover bread. So yeah, yeah, no, it fits the bill. It's honestly a really nice nose, actually. Quite balanced, fruity, a little bit malty, like in like a light, refreshing kind of way. And it's just purely because it doesn't have much room to breathe in the can. I think I'll give the nose in the can like a 7 out of 10. It does smell really nice. It's just I'm not really able to get much of a sense of what the smell is actually like. But we'll pour it into the good old tankard glass and see what our first impressions are like with the smell when it's properly poured out and it has a good bit of room to breathe. Again, I'm usually pretty poor at pouring out cans and getting a good head on them. That's not a great head, but serviceable at least. It'll probably disappear in no time flat, I would imagine. So, yeah, probably don't expect anything great from me with that. But let's have a quick snifter again in the glass. Bit more balanced smell. Not as much of that maltiness, actually, though. I probably did have a little bit of a cold recently, so maybe that's not helping. But good nose, very good nose in the glass. I'll probably give the nose in the glass like an 8.25 out of 10. I think it is definitely just much of the same, but just a bit more vibrant, a little bit more better balanced. Annoyingly, there is a little bit of a lack of that maltiness that I could smell in the can, which kind of did actually complement the fruitiness in the nose quite well. So that's a little bit disappointing, but it's a good nose. It does smell nice. It doesn't cloy in the nostrils in a nasty way or anything. So yeah, I'll say 7 out of 10 in the can, 8.25 out of 10 in the glass. But obviously, we'll only know what this sucker is properly like until we taste it. So let's have ourselves a quick palate cleanser first. And remember, drink responsibly and stay hydrated. And then on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this sucker tastes like. So, to everyone at home, I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And Merry Christmas. And Merry Thanksgiving to all my Americans. Cheers. Bottoms up. Ooh, ooh. For a hazy pale ale, that's really smooth, actually. Good texture, good mouthfeel, yeah. Mm. The texture's really hazy and kind of sort of like muddly at the start, but then it just kind of sort of like smoothly peters out, and the rest of the mouthfeel and like the texture is like quite smooth, very juicy. It's got a nice like sort of like wet sort of kind of like end to the mouthfeel because like some pale ales can be quite dry, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think for a flavour like this, having kind of sort of a more wet mouthfeel kind of really works a bit better. Um, mm, Good colour to it as well. Really nice colour for a pale ale. Look at that. I really like that sort of like cloudy, hazy colour to it when it comes to canned pale ales. Mm. So yeah, texture and mouthfeel is great. Really complements the flavour quite well actually, because the flavour is kind of like I don't know how have they described the flavour on the can here. It tastes amazing, but also does amazing things too. At Toast, we turn leftover loaves into liquid gold and pour all profits into charities to buy Mother Nature around. Okay, that's quite nice. Yeah, it doesn't really describe the taste of the drink too much on the can, really. It does say in terms of allergens, it does contain wheat, barley, and it might contain rye. But in terms of the actual flavour itself, mm, there is an underlying sort of kind of like bready kind of flavour, kind of undercutting this sort of like slight, very mildly, very, very, very mildly bitter undercurrent that's kind of like a bit fruity. So that bready and that kind of bitterness kind of really does complement each other quite well. and then in the aftertaste, those two flavors kind of combine together, and they kind of sort of slightly peter out a bit. And the aftertaste is kind of like this citrusy, almost rindy, but not quite super rindy aftertaste. Mm. The flavour could be a bit more fuller bodied, but the flavours that are here do actually work together really well. And like I said before, they are kind of complemented and strengthened quite a lot by the mouthfeel and the texture of the drink as well. So I think this is definitely one of those where the the final bill is stronger than the sum of its parts. And I guess that's kind of makes sense in my way of like looking at drinks because it is a collaboration between two breweries. So I guess yeah, it's probably like a contrast of different styles and ways of making beer, but they've combined it together to make something that's stronger than the sum of its parts. So I think there's individual aspects to it that I think could be improved. I think like it could be slightly more bitter in the aftertaste. I think it could be a bit more fuller bodied. I think it could be slightly fruitier and have maybe a little bit of more of a malty undertone. But the flavours that are here work together really, really well. And the mouthfeel and the context of the texture really kind of sort of like complement the flavours really, really well and help them stand out. So honestly, it is a really good beer, despite the fact that I would say there are little tweaks to have. So I would probably say I don't know if I could. I don't know if quite. It's 8.5. Is it? I'd say. Oh, I don't know if I could really put it up to an 8.5. It's pretty close to that level though. Do you know what? No, 8.35. This is a solid 8.35. I think it is good. There is tweaks I would make, but overall, I would thoroughly recommend this. For £3 for a 440 milliliter can, it's pretty decent value for money as well. Because a lot of the times with these kind of craft beers, they can be pretty expensive. But I think £3 for nearly half a litre of beer is pretty decent to be honest. And overall, it's a decent package that, like I said, is stronger than the sum of its parts. So I would definitely recommend giving this a try if you've either tried pale ales before and you've been burnt a bit by them, or if you're looking to get into pale ales for the first time. I think this is one of those where it's a good, solid all-round beer that can kind of meet a lot of different types of expectations. So yeah, definitely would give this a shot. Would recommend for that price, and yeah, especially if you see it on sale as well. I definitely recommend giving it a look in as well. But no, honestly, I really, really enjoyed that. 8.35 out of 10. But if you guys like this video, leave a like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Brew Cellar, let me know in the comment section down below. And also, if you have any ideas for video formats or other drinks I should review, and I'll leave the links to my social medias and bits and bobs in the video description as well. But until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, drink responsibly, know your limits, and I'll see you guys at the bar.